In a society where values such as compassion, empathy and kindness are often held in high regard, the idea of not always being gentle with others can appear puzzling or even contradictory. However, Buddhism offers a deeply insightful perspective on this concept. Gautama Buddha, the wise and enlightened teacher who founded Buddhism more than 2,000 years ago, shared timeless teachings that go far beyond surface-level courtesy. His philosophy reaches into the very heart of human interaction, guiding individuals toward inner calm and spiritual development. In this video, we will explore the depth of Buddha's wisdom and examine why, in certain situations, gentleness alone may not be sufficient, why it may be necessary to adopt a more refined and balanced way of engaging with the world. When Gautama was 29 years old, he set out on a profound inner quest to discover answers to life's most essential questions. What causes human suffering? And how can one achieve enduring joy and inner stillness? After several years of dedicated meditation, deep reflection, and self-discipline, he attained enlightenment beneath the Bodhi tree in Bodh Gaya, India. From that moment, he became known as the Buddha, the Awakened One, and devoted his life to teaching others what he had realized. His spiritual insights are encapsulated primarily in two core frameworks: the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path. These central doctrines serve as the pillars of Buddhist philosophy, offering practical and meaningful guidance for dealing with the challenges of everyday life. The Four Noble Truths in particular serve as the foundation for understanding the reality of suffering and the route to spiritual freedom. Let us delve into these teachings and uncover how they relate to the seemingly paradoxical idea of not always approaching life and others with unrelenting gentleness. 1. The truth of suffering. The first of Buddha's noble truths acknowledges a fundamental aspect of human existence, the presence of suffering. He recognized that life inevitably includes various forms of distress, ranging from physical discomfort to emotional struggles and the persistent dissatisfaction caused by endless desires and unfulfilled wants. While treating others with kindness may offer temporary relief or comfort, it does not reach the deeper sources of suffering. Gautama Buddha urges us not to avoid or sugarcoat this truth, but to face suffering directly and honestly. Through acknowledging its role in our lives, we gain deeper understanding and insight, which can help us uncover meaningful solutions and ultimately rise above suffering's grasp. 2. The truth of the cause of suffering. The second noble truth sheds light on the origins of suffering, pointing to our cravings and attachments as the core issues. Human beings are naturally drawn toward pleasure and instinctively recoil from discomfort. Yet this very drive to cling to pleasurable experiences and avoid anything unpleasant creates a cycle of suffering. In some cases, being overly gentle or accommodating to everyone may stem from our own attachments, such as the longing for approval, fear of rejection, or the need to be seen in a positive light. According to the Buddha, freedom comes from loosening these attachments. This doesn't require us to disconnect emotionally or become indifferent, but rather to cultivate a steady and compassionate perspective that isn't governed by the need for external validation. 3. The cessation of suffering. The third noble truth offers a message of profound optimism. Suffering can indeed be overcome. It is not an eternal or unchangeable state. By letting go of the underlying causes, our clinging, our cravings, and the emotional dependence on others' opinions, we open ourselves to the possibility of genuine peace. When we no longer chase constant approval or try to please everyone at the expense of our own well-being, we step off the treadmill of suffering. In this space of inner freedom, we begin to experience a more authentic and lasting sense of contentment. 4. The truth of the path to the cessation of the suffering. The fourth noble truth introduces the Eightfold Path, a comprehensive guide to freeing oneself from suffering and achieving liberation. This path encompasses 3 essential areas: ethical behavior, mental cultivation, and the development of wisdom. Although being consistently kind and gentle toward everyone may appear to be a commendable trait, the Eightfold Path invites us to develop clarity and discernment in our actions and relationships. The Eightfold Path is composed of 8 interconnected practices: right understanding and right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. These principles are designed to help individuals live in alignment with truth and balance. A central idea within this framework is the concept of the middle way, a key Buddhist teaching that emphasizes balance and the avoidance of extremes. In the context of interpersonal relationships, especially when considering whether to be gentle with others, the middle way encourages a thoughtful balance between kindness and wisdom. Gautama Buddha's own life serves as a profound illustration of this. Before reaching enlightenment, he lived in the lap of luxury as a prince, indulging in every comfort. Later, he subjected himself to severe ascetic practices, denying the body in the hope of spiritual gain. Neither extreme led him to the peace he sought. Only when he adopted the middle way, a path of balance between indulgence and denial, did he achieve true awakening. Applying this wisdom in our daily lives means recognizing when gentleness might become counterproductive. Being overly soft or accommodating can sometimes enable destructive behavior, while being too severe can cause unnecessary pain. The middle way teaches us to engage with others using discernment, knowing when to show compassion and when to establish healthy limits. This distinction is essential when considering the deeper meaning of compassion in Buddhism. True compassion does not involve permitting harmful behavior or neglecting one's own needs to keep others comfortable. Instead, it is rooted in a profound understanding of suffering, its causes and its remedies, and a dedication to relieving that suffering through wise and skillful action. Compassion, in this light, becomes a dynamic, intentional practice that may sometimes require firmness, honesty, or setting boundaries, not just softness or indulgence. There is a parable about a raft that offers a powerful metaphor that sheds light on the idea that gentleness is not always the appropriate response in every situation. This well-known Buddhist story emphasizes the temporary and functional nature of the Buddha's teachings, and it illustrates the importance of knowing when to release what is no longer needed. In the story, a man needs to cross a wide and dangerous river. To do so, he constructs a simple raft from whatever materials are available. The raft serves its purpose, carrying him safely across to the opposite shore. Once he reaches the far bank, he wisely chooses not to carry the raft on his back for the rest of his journey. He understands that the raft was a necessary aid to get him across, but it is no longer useful now that its purpose has been fulfilled. This parable teaches us that the teachings of Buddhism, much like the raft, are practical tools meant to help us move through suffering and ignorance. They are not sacred objects to be clung to beyond their utility. In the same way, our tendency to be consistently gentle and kind should also be examined through this lens of adaptability. There are times when showing compassion and softness is exactly what is needed. Like the raft, it provides support and comfort to those struggling to stay afloat in difficult times. However, there are also circumstances where persistent gentleness becomes counterproductive, even enabling harmful patterns in ourselves or others. In those moments, holding on to gentleness for its own sake can become a barrier to growth and freedom. The parable reminds us that just as we must know when to set the raft down, we must also recognize when to shift our approach, from gentle support to wise firmness or clear boundaries. Ultimately, the path to liberation requires flexibility and insight. We must develop the ability to read each situation carefully and respond with appropriate wisdom. True compassion does not always look like softness. It sometimes demands strength, honesty, and the courage to let go of behaviors or attitudes that no longer serve a higher purpose. The parable of the mustard seed, a reflection on suffering. The parable of the mustard seed centers around a heartbroken mother who has recently lost her child. Consumed by sorrow and desperate for relief, she turns to the Buddha in hopes that he might bring her child back or ease her unbearable grief. The Buddha listens compassionately and agrees to offer his help, but with a specific condition. She must find a single mustard seed from a household that has never experienced the loss of a loved one. Motivated by hope and determined to fulfill the Buddha's request, the woman goes from one home to another, asking if they have ever known death. As she speaks with family after family, she comes to the painful realization that every household has endured loss in some form. Death and grief are not isolated to her alone. They are shared experiences that touch every life. After this journey, she returns to the Buddha, no longer expecting a miracle, but with a deepened awareness that suffering is a universal aspect of human existence. This parable delivers a powerful message. Pain, loss, and mourning are inseparable from life. No one escapes sorrow, and every human being, regardless of status or circumstance, must eventually face the reality of suffering. When viewed through the lens of not always being gentle with others, this story reveals that kindness, while comforting, may not be enough to guide someone through the profound challenges of life. While gentleness can offer momentary relief or soothe emotional distress, it does not resolve the underlying truths that shape the human journey. Instead, what truly transforms suffering is wisdom, the type of insight that the Buddha shared through this lesson. In this context, the parable shows us that offering only gentle words or soft reassurances can sometimes fall short of what is truly needed. True compassion sometimes involves guiding others toward difficult truths rather than shielding them from pain. Through understanding the shared nature of suffering, individuals can move toward acceptance, inner peace, and spiritual growth. The teachings of Buddhism, therefore, point us toward the enduring value of insight, reminding us that while gentleness has its place, it is the clarity and depth of wisdom that ultimately lead to liberation from suffering. Applying the middle way in everyday life. 1. Creating and honoring boundaries. An essential aspect of practicing the middle way lies in learning how to set healthy boundaries. While kindness, empathy, and flexibility are important qualities, it is equally vital to safeguard our emotional and mental well-being. In the context of Buddhism, establishing boundaries is not viewed as an absence of compassion, but rather as a wise and caring act, both for ourselves and for those we interact with. Boundaries help to create respectful relationships, preventing emotional depletion and fostering mutual understanding. 2. Responding to destructive behavior. When confronted with actions or patterns that are harmful, the middle way invites us to respond with both clarity and compassion. This might mean directly addressing the issue, encouraging the person toward healthier behavior, or seeking help from professionals if the situation demands it. The aim is to steer clear of both extremes, responding with unnecessary severity, or on the other hand, ignoring the issue entirely and allowing it to persist. By maintaining a balanced approach, we can work towards solutions that are both ethical and effective. 3. Handling disagreements and tension. Disputes and misunderstandings are an inevitable part of relationships and communication. According to the middle way, the goal is not to deny or suppress these conflicts, but to face them with awareness and thoughtful action. Rather than shying away from confrontation in the name of keeping the peace, we are encouraged to participate in open, respectful conversations. This involves practicing mindful speech, truly listening to others, and being open to different perspectives. Through this approach, we aim to move beyond superficial calm and instead nurture deeper, more authentic harmony grounded in mutual respect and understanding. The practice of skillful means. In Buddhist philosophy, the concept of skillful means, upaya, plays a vital role in helping individuals progress on their path to awakening. It refers to the thoughtful use of methods and actions that are best suited to the specific circumstances, temperament, and needs of each person. In the context of choosing not to be gentle with everyone, skillful means become an essential tool for offering compassionate, effective, and context-sensitive guidance. 1. Adapting compassion to the situation. Choosing not to be consistently gentle doesn't imply being harsh, cold, or unkind. Rather, it calls for a refined sense of awareness and sensitivity to what a person genuinely needs in any given moment. True compassion is not one size fits all. It must be flexible and responsive. Through the use of skillful means, we can adjust our behavior and responses to strike the appropriate balance between kindness, direction, and necessary boundaries. 2. Understanding personal differences. Every individual walks a unique path shaped by their experiences, beliefs, and emotional landscape. Some people flourish when approached with gentleness and empathy, while others might require more directness or structured guidance to truly grow. Practicing skillful means recognizing these differences and shaping our interactions in ways that support the other person's journey without assuming that the same method suits everyone equally. 3. Practicing deep listening and empathy. At the heart of skillful means lies the ability to listen attentively and empathetically. By being fully present and tuning into the emotional and psychological needs of those we engage with, we can respond with wisdom that resonates deeply. This approach allows us to provide real, thoughtful support, helping others in a way that is both compassionate and grounded, without sacrificing our own clarity, energy, or emotional health. Embracing the truth of impermanence. The principle of impermanence is a core teaching in Buddhism. It reminds us that everything in existence, including our feelings, attachments, and relationships, is in constant flux. Recognizing this truth becomes especially meaningful when exploring the idea of not always being gentle with everyone. 1. Emotional shifts are natural. Our emotions are fluid, often shaped by external situations and internal states. If we allow ourselves to respond with persistent softness or severity based solely on fleeting emotions, it can destabilize our connections with others. By embracing the ever-changing nature of our feelings, we can meet situations with steadiness and insight rather than reacting impulsively. 2. Change within relationships. No relationship remains exactly the same. People grow, situations evolve, and the dynamics we share with others shift over time. Understanding this impermanence allows us to cherish the present without becoming attached to a fixed idea of how relationships should be. It teaches us to adapt, appreciate, and release when necessary, without resistance. 3. Handling disagreements. The power of letting go. One of the deepest lessons impermanence offers is learning how to release our grip on expectations, on control, and on rigid ideals, such as always needing to be gentle. Holding on too tightly to any one approach can hinder growth for ourselves and others. A mindset rooted in flexibility and acceptance allows our relationships and responses to unfold naturally and appropriately in each moment. Mindfulness and compassion toward the self. At the heart of Buddhist practice lies mindfulness, an awareness of the present moment free from judgment. Alongside it, self-compassion becomes a powerful ally in the practice of wise engagement, especially when we choose not to default to constant gentleness. 1. Embracing kindness toward ourselves. Mindfulness invites us to treat ourselves with understanding and care. In the pursuit of balance, where we aim not to overextend gentleness, we must ensure we're also tending to our own emotional needs. A compassionate relationship with ourselves allows us to act from a place of strength and clarity, avoiding exhaustion or resentment. 2. Watching without reacting. Non-judgmental awareness enables us to observe our inner world without becoming entangled in it. When we face difficulties or challenging people, mindfulness helps us to pause, notice our immediate reactions, and choose a more thoughtful response. This space between reaction and action is where true wisdom and compassion emerge. Cultivating inner balance. Equanimity, one of the Brahma Viharas in Buddhist tradition, is the ability to remain centered amid life's changing tides. It offers a steady presence that supports both understanding and compassion, especially in moments where being overly gentle may not serve the greater good. Developing equanimity allows us to approach others with a calm, steady heart. It helps us avoid being swept away by intense emotions, whether they arise from within or are projected onto us by others. In the context of not always being gentle, equanimity supports our ability to remain compassionate without becoming passive or permissive. Let us remember that choosing not to be gentle in every situation is not an excuse for coldness or cruelty. Instead, it is a call to embody true compassion, one that is grounded in deep awareness, discernment, and a sincere desire to support the liberation and well-being of all sentient beings. As we walk the middle way, we reflect the enduring wisdom of the Buddha, aiming to bring more harmony and balance into our relationships and into the world around us. Ultimately, it is the graceful blend of kindness and discernment that leads us to the essence of genuine compassion. A compassion not ruled by fleeting feelings, but rooted in wisdom, offering enduring peace both for ourselves and for others. Today, we explored a perspective on compassion that's rarely talked about, the idea that true kindness doesn't always mean being endlessly gentle. As we've seen through the teachings of the Buddha, real compassion is grounded in wisdom, balance, and discernment. It's about knowing when to offer softness and when strength and clarity are what's truly needed. The middle way invites us to embrace both. Whether it's setting boundaries, letting go, or offering guidance rooted in insight, Buddhism teaches us that love and wisdom must go hand in hand. If this video gave you something to reflect on, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. And remember, compassion isn't about pleasing everyone. It's about uplifting others with clarity and care. Until next time, stay mindful, stay kind, and stay connected to your path. See you in the next video.